Hello, good evening, and welcome to the broadcast. Tonight we begin with a series of major developments shaping the country's education sector, where President William Ruto has renewed his push for full digitization of education data, saying it is key to improving planning, transparency, and eliminating cartels. The directive comes as education stakeholders continue discussions at the second National Education Conference in Naivasha, where reforms targeting teachers, employment terms, and systems efficiency are taking center stage. We also have updates on a growing national concern as experts warn about the rising popularity of cosmetic procedures like liposuction being used as quick weight loss solutions, despite medical advice that they are strictly body contouring procedures. Again, my name is Debarl, Inea, and our sign language interpreter tonight is Catherine Simaloy. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, President William Ruto has directed the prompt digitization of data across the education sector to get accurate information for proper planning. Speaking during the second National Education Conference, the president said the ongoing digitization exercise will be expanded to weed out cartels in the sector. Our Education Affairs reporter, Andrin Kilemi, attended the conference and has filed the following report.
Accountability concerns took center stage at the second National Education Conference following shocking revelations of massive financial losses linked to ghost schools and non-existent learners.
We got to know that there were 87,000 or thereabout ghost students in our secondary schools. Students we were paying capitation for, yet they didn't exist.
As a result, the government has been losing an estimated 1.2 billion shillings annually through capitation funds disbursed to non-existent students.
We had 800,000 pupils in primary school. Government paying close to $1.2 billion every year for learners that did not exist. We had schools registered close to 200 schools that did not exist.
President William Ruto has now directed the Ministry of Education to digitize all learner records within the next 2 months in a bid to restore transparency and seal loopholes that have enabled the loss of public funds.
And I have instructed the Ministry of Education that in the next 2 months, we're going to be working with the CONSA Technopolis to make sure that we digitize all the education details of every learner, every school, teachers, bursaries, and everything else.
The president also urged education stakeholders, including teachers' unions, to encourage school heads to adopt digital systems such as e-Citizen for fee collection instead of relying on cash transactions.
They want to continue writing receipts on pieces of exercise book. Why? Honestly, motosaidie. Today, parents should be able to pay from the comfort of their homes on e-Citizen school fees for their children.
Day one of the second education conference has laid bare deep-rooted accountability challenges within the education sector. And as the government moves to digitize data learner within the next 2 months, all attention now moves to see whether these measures will seal the loopholes that have for years drained billions of shillings from the system. Andrin Kilemi, TV47, Naivasha.
And staying with matters academia, President William Ruto has revealed what could be one of the biggest fraud schemes to hit the education sector after a government audit uncovered hundreds of thousands of ghost learners and non-existent schools that have been receiving billions of shillings in public funds. Now, the shocking findings expose major irregularities in school enrollment data, with the government losing an estimated 1.2 billion shillings every year through capitation for learners who do not exist. The audit established that about 87,000 ghost students were listed in secondary schools, while nearly 800,000 fake pupils were registered in primary schools across the country. Investigators also discovered close to 200 registered schools that physically do not exist, yet they have continued to receive government funding. In response, President Ruto has directed the Ministry of Education to fully digitize records for all learners, teachers and schools within 2 months, in a process being undertaken in collaboration with Konza Technopolis to enhance data integrity and eliminate fraud. The president has also warned that those found responsible for the fraudulent records will be held accountable as the government intensifies its crackdown on corruption in the education sector. All right, so we just want to ask you, maybe we can get feedback from you as well, and you can do that on all socials. With the government moving to digitize all learners, teachers and school records, following the discovery of thousands of ghost students and non-existent schools, do you think this will help end corruption in the education sector? What more should be done to ensure accountability? Come on, talk to us. Our SMS line are open, that is 22047. You can also engage us through our socials at TV47, also on Instagram as well, on X as well. And we shall be sure to get all your feedback and contributions and responses as soon as possible. Right, so as the second National Education Conference continues in Naivasha, we also asked education experts, policy analysts and school administrators what has stood out for them so far from the conference. And of course, the policy proposals and government commitments on education reforms. This is some of their views. Now, President William Ruto has directed the Teachers Service Commission to ensure that no teachers or teacher serves on a contract basis This is for more than 2 years. Addressing stakeholders during the National Education Conference in Naivasha, the president said the government will automatically transition teachers who have served for 2 years on contract to permanent and pensionable terms.
The crisis involving Kenya junior school teachers continues to deepen, with more than 44,000 intern teachers demanding immediate employment on permanent and pensionable terms. The teachers say they are overworked, underpaid, and subjected to unfair contract conditions. Even after a court ruling declared the intern teachers' contracts unconstitutional, President Ruto has directed the Teachers Service Commission to absorb the 44,000 teachers who've been serving under internship terms.
We employ teachers on contract for 2 years with a commitment, firm commitment, that after the 2 years contract, they will transition without any other interview or whatever. They will transition automatically to permanent and pensionable.
While opening the second National Education Conference in Naivasha, President Ruto said the government remains committed to strengthening the education sector and addressing challenges facing teachers across the country.
From the position I sit in as president, if there is one very important thing is to have an educated, informed society.
This country invests 28% of the budget in education. We are already above international standard by 8%, and we are continuing to increase that.
Since schools reopened for the second term, protests by junior school teachers have disrupted learning in several parts of the country, with many teachers boycotting classes until their demands for better pay and fair employment terms are met.
This conference is a follow-up of the first national conference.
The conference, which runs until the 9th of this month, has brought together education stakeholders, policymakers, school administrators, and development partners to discuss education reforms and the future of Kenya's education system. Joash Onsare, TV47.
And hundreds of learners in Baringo are now forced to wade through knee-deep water after floodwaters from Lake Baringo submerged key infrastructure in their school and cut off the main access roads. Chichi Josephine with more.
What used to be an ordinary journey to school has now become a dangerous and exhausting experience for hundreds of learners at Lorok Comprehensive School in Baringo, North Baringo County. Flood waters from Lake Baringo are now surrounding classrooms, submerging toilets and cutting off the main access road.
Watu wamehama kutoka village karibu village 3, kutoka village ya Jesiran, village ya Loruk na ya Bleljon. Sasa wanafunzi wote ambao hiyo village 6 wanakuja shule.
This one small boat is what pupils, parents and teachers are now relying on to access the school.
Nikirudisha watoto ni risk sasa, upepo inachapa mbele ukuta. Sasa wakati inachapa mbele ukuta inanibidi niende pole pole.
Every morning, learners at Lorok Comprehensive School are forced to brave flood waters to get to their classes. The road linking the school to the nearby community has completely submerged beneath the rising waters of Lake Baringo. The boat can only carry about 7 children per trip, yet more than 250 learners depend on it every day. This leading to widespread absenteeism and surge in malaria cases.
Hii boat ambayo ni private wanalipisha kila mtu shilingi 20. Alafu sasa mtoto anakuja nyumbani na lipa 20. Alafu lunch hours.
The situation has also become financially draining for many families. Each learner must pay 20 shillings for every trip across the water.
Na income ya hapa mzazi naenda kibarua. Anapoenda kibarua analipa shilingi 200. na tayari mtoto amelipa shilingi ya watoto 5 amelipa 400. Sasa hii inaonekana hiyo mzazi anatafuta pesa kando ya kuongezea.
Flood waters have already engulfed parts of the institution, with toilets fully submerged and water steadily moving closer to classrooms, these posing dangers by crocodiles and hippos believed to inhabit the lake waters.
Sasa tunaona hii ni changamoto yenye hairudi nyuma. Tunawaomba mtusaidie. Hawa watoto ni wachanga sana. Na masomo lazima iendelee juu ni maisha ya baadaye ya mtoto.
Parents are now calling on well-wishers, the county and the national governments to urgently step in and provide a lasting solution to the crisis.
Only that we need msaada ya serikali itujengee shule, madarasa, itujengee quarters ya walimu na wanafunzi watahama.
Chichi, Josephine, TV47.
Well, let's turn the crack now to matters politics, where UDA National Elections Board has dismissed allegations of voter bribery and buying of voters' cards ahead of the All Kalau Party nominations and by-elections slated for July. This follows allegations that some politicians want to interfere, I should say, with the elections.
The race for the All Kalau parliamentary seat is gaining momentum as political parties raise serious allegations of voter bribery. The UDA National Elections Board has dismissed claims of identification cards being purchased from All Kalau voters ahead of the UDA nominations scheduled for Friday 8th May and the by-election set for July 16th. Addressing journalists while dispatching election materials, National Elections Board officials led by Jimmy Kahindi described the claims as baseless accusations from political competitors.
So hakuna venye mtu atapeleka pale vitambulisho 20 na zitakuwa scanned. That cannot happen. So kama mtu anapoteza pesa yake kununua vitambulisho, ni afadhali atumie hiyo pesa hakikisha ya kwamba amemobilize watu wajitokeze kupiga kura.
Hindi assured the public that all voting equipment and technology to be used during the exercise have been meticulously tested to prevent any form of malpractice.
Tunapigisha kura kulingana na system ambayo inahitaji yule mwenye kitambulisho apeleke kitambulisho yake pale in person na itakuwa scanned na ile gadget yetu. So hata ukinunua IDs hakuna mahali utapeleka. Ultimately wenye vitambulisho ni lazima wajifikishe katika polling center.
Hii gadget tunatumia kama chama ya UDA, lazima tuangalie hiyo pande ya nyuma, tuweze kuscan na kamera yetu, i-verify wewe ndo mwenye hiyo kitambulisho ili uweze kupiga kura.
He urged voters to turn up in large numbers and present their original identification cards during the exercise. All Kalau by-election is scheduled to take place on 16th of July, while party primaries are expected to be held on Friday. A total of 22 aspirants from 3 major parties, including UDA, DCP and the Jubilee Party, have declared interest in the party primaries. The by-election follows the death of former area MP David Kiaraho. Paul Kirobi, TV47.
Now, 19 Kenyans have been confirmed dead after being recruited to fight in Russia-Ukraine conflict, with 291 enlisted into Russian special forces. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi says 42 remain missing, 2 are prisoners of war and 53 have been repatriated as the government intensifies a crackdown on rogue recruitment networks.
The government has confirmed that 291 Kenyans were recruited into Russian special forces under irregular circumstances amid the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war.
Sometimes when it's talked about in the media, the impression given is that Ambassador Mathuki and their people should have just gone to the war front line and pluck these people from a military zone and bring them home. It's not that easy.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi says 19 Kenyans have so far been killed in the conflict, while 42 others remain missing. 2 more are being held as prisoners of war. He further noted that 53 Kenyans have been successfully repatriated through government intervention.
To make sure that you can have more agreements, bilateral agreements, which can deal with prisoner exchange of prisoners, mutual legal assistance to broaden that scope with different countries. So these are conversations that we are also pursuing.
Musalia Mudavadi further says authorities are taking firm action against illegal recruitment networks that are luring desperate job seekers with false promises of lucrative jobs abroad.
Right now, you cannot completely track AI-generated recruitment operations. These are rapidly evolving spaces using technology, and it's not easy.
The government is now warning Kenyans to verify all overseas job offers through licensed agencies and relevant state departments before accepting employment abroad. Modhoni Brenda for TV47.
The Cabinet Secretary for Public Service, Geoffrey Ruku, has issued a warning to public servants who report late or fail to attend work. This follows a surprise inspection conducted early today in Garissa, where several government offices were found closed during official working hours. The inspection, carried out at 7 a.m. today, aimed to determine whether public servants were adhering to official working hours and delivering quality services to citizens. However, the Cabinet Secretary stated that many employees had not reported to work by the required time.
Regional Commission. And one of the ways to tell whether you have the right attitude to work is, are you reporting to your workstation at the required time? Because those Kenyans who are queuing there, who are waiting, if those offices were open and the people in charge are there, they would have been served and they could, at the moment, doing other things. We still have a long way to go as a public servant who are in different offices, different government offices in the Republic of Kenya. And these region offices, we have big signboard written Office of the President. But what I have seen at the region offices, we need to put our act in order.
Now let's talk about liposuction, which was designed as a body contouring procedure, not a weight loss solution. But as demand for rapid body transformation grows, more people are turning to cosmetic surgery and weight loss injections in pursuit of slimmer bodies and faster results. Medical experts, however, warn that many still misunderstand what these procedures are actually meant to do. In this report that was produced by Diana Tariq, if we take a look at the growing weight loss craze and the realities behind the transformation trend.
The pursuit of weight loss is not new, but the shift began when medicine met aesthetics. Procedures like liposuction, once reserved for medical needs, gradually became cosmetic tools. At the same time, global fitness culture moved online, turning bodies into content and transformation into currency. But as demand rises, so do concerns around misuse and access. At Dr. Stash Hospital, the demand reflects a wider shift. Appointments are constant, with consultations running back to back. For many, surgery is seen as the next step.
Liposuction should be reserved for patients who have stubborn areas on the tummy, flanks, love handles, under the chin maybe, under the armpits. Yes, there are larger and smaller areas. So safely, I would say, internationally, you can remove just below 10% of the body weight. But then for somebody who's 80 kilos, I don't really want to remove 8 liters of fat, because there's a lot of dangerous side effects that can occur with those amounts of removal of fat. So it's not a weight loss procedure, it's more of a contouring surgery.
But the reality is often misunderstood. These procedures reshape the body, not reduce overall weight.
Liposuction or tummy tuck should not replace the patient trying to lose weight. So if somebody comes to me with a very high body mass index or overweight, then I have to really look carefully whether I want to do the tummy tuck and the liposuction, because there's a limit to how much I can safely remove. So I'd advise those patients to lose weight first and then do the contouring surgery, which will then shape the patient to the desired outcome.
The decision is medical, not just aesthetic, and not every patient qualifies.
When you come in and you explain to me your expectations and how you want to look, what you want to change, then I also examine you, and then we determine together whether it's safe to do the surgery or whether I propose for you to lose weight first.
Even for those who do, the process is far from simple. And like any medical intervention, there are risks.
The patient can have a huge fluid shift, meaning that the physiology of the body is out of sync. The blood pressure might change, they collapse and then need to be reanimated. The blood itself can drop, so hemoglobin can go into areas where they need blood transfusions. We can get all kinds of irregularities because of now suddenly after losing so much of the body composition or of the body tissue, then the skin becomes very lax and it just doesn't have a good aesthetic outlook.
What began as medical treatment has now become a global lifestyle trend. But as the demand grows, so does the need for awareness.
Weight loss injections are medications used by diabetic type 2 clients to regulate their blood sugar levels, but it was also found out that they can be used to reduce your weight.
More importantly, the results depend on what happens after.
Basically, the weight loss injections are supposed to be there for 6 months. You're supposed to take it for 6 months. You're not supposed to depend on it your whole life and be addicted to it, because it's medically said that you're supposed to do it for 6 months. So I stopped for 6 months. So that was early 2025. I stopped. I maintained my lifestyle now with working out, doing different sports, boxing, hiking, and actually diet.
When it comes to the body, there are no shortcuts without consequences. In the end, the real transformation may not be instant, but informed.
Liposuction, we get to learn as well. It's not liposuction as I'd pronounced earlier, so there's no end in learning. Lawmakers have been called to formulate policies and laws that can effectively regulate methane emissions in the country. During a media breakfast dialogue Thursday, themed, quote-unquote, reducing methane, promoting development, members of parliament, government agencies, development partners and environmental stakeholders deliberated on the impact of methane emissions and the role of parliament in advancing climate action. This as Kenya is set to host a regional seminar organized by the Inter-Parliamentary Union, IPU, and the Parliament of Kenya. The seminar will be held in Nairobi next week, focusing on methane emissions reduction.
Agriculture is a huge issue, especially in this region, and agricultural productivity is affected by methane emissions. We see asthmatic cases growing, not just in the developed world, but now increasingly much more in the developing world. We see lost labor because of the climate change impacts and methane being a big emitter.
Effective representation requires more than formal processes. It requires that citizens understand what the issues at stake are. If our people do not understand methane, they cannot meaningfully address it.
We note that there are a number of regulations and acts already we have, but nothing specific for methane. So I think it's upon Parliament now to really structure specific methane regulations, because we're all riding on the issue of normal climate change.
Tonight, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has challenged his impeachment as politically motivated and asked the High Court to declare his impeachment null and void, saying it fell below the required constitutional threshold. Petitioners challenging Gachagua's impeachment in their submissions before the High Court accused President William Ruto of engineering the plot with the help of a captured parliament in what was a case of political fallout rather than constitutional accountability.
The Attorney General.
Former Deputy President Gachagua's impeachment case resumed on Thursday, with petitioners challenging his removal as politically motivated. They argued that it failed to meet the constitutional threshold and that Gachagua who was hospitalized, was never accorded a fair hearing. Appearing before a 3-judge bench comprising Justices Eric Ogola, Freda Mugambi, and Anthony Murima, the petitioners, who are seeking 11 orders from the court, argued that Gashagua's impeachment was a calculated political scheme through a captured parliament and asked the court to declare it null and void.
To have the deputy president, the former deputy president, impeached from office was done in haste, was done contra-constitutional.
The petitioners further asked the court to declare President William Ruto's actions an abuse of office, accusing him of engineering, sponsoring, and bulldozing the impeachment process. The 2 houses of parliament were also put on the spot for allegedly conspiring to impeach Gachagua, with the Senate accused of violating the Constitution by failing to form a technical committee to investigate Gachagua. The petitioners further challenged the public participation exercise, describing it as shambolic. They argued that it was a rushed and defective process.
Demonstrably, public participation purported to have been carried by the National Assembly is, for want of a better word, a shambolic affair.
The petitioners, among other demands, want the nomination and appointment of Deputy President Kithure Kindiki declared null and void. The hearing, which was adjourned to next Wednesday, also saw the legal teams for the National Assembly, the Senate, and the Speaker oppose an affidavit by Dr. Dan Gikonyo of Karen Hospital, arguing that it amounts to introducing new evidence too late in the proceedings. The judges will rule on the admissibility of Dr. Gikonyo's affidavit next week. Apul Kamau, TV47.
All right, with that report by Apollo Kamau, we want to take a short break. But before we do that, I'll be remiss if I don't show you tomorrow's publication of a Star. This is what you'll be waking up to, fresh off the press. On the front page of the Star, it's all about shareholders' joy as Safaricom posts 100 billion shillings profit. Farm declares dividend payout of 2 shillings per share, totaling 80.1 billion shillings is what the flag is reading on top there. And the story is tucked away on page 12 of tomorrow's publication. You can see a related picture there and flappable smiles of the Safaricom board members and officials there. We have Wim Van Helput, and CEO, that is the CEO Ethiopia PLC, Peter Degwa, Group Chief Executive Officer. And then we have Adil Kawaja, Chairman, Safaricom PLC, and Dilip Pal, Group Chief Finance and Innovation Officer, going through the 2025-2026 financial year results at Michael Joseph Center. And we can also scroll up to see what we have on the teaser there. Siasa is on. That is for the weekend. Let development, not political waves, decide Kenya's fate in 2027. It's all about accountability. The story is tucked away on page 11 of the publication. Also, opposition facing flag-bearer dilemma with Sifuna's entry. It's all about realignment. The story is on page 4 and 5 of tomorrow's publication. Also, we have the Newsweek of what we have international there, Arm and Hammer. We're all living in Benjamin Netanyahu's world now. This is on the front page of the Newsweek as well. And lastly, also, for the fall, we have the Time magazine as well. Cuba awaits Trump's endgame, and is all about essays as well by Leonardo Padura, Carlos Ire, and Ricardo Torres. You can read all about it also on the latest publication of the Time magazine. We take a short break right now. We just slake our thirst. We'll return back with more. Don't go away.
Azam TV, your favorite pay TV just got even better. Effective 1st March 2026, we have added 5 amazing new TV channels to keep you entertained day and night. AMC Movies and Nolly Africa for the best of Nollywood movies and series. Music Box Hits and Music Box Dance for non-stop music hits and dance. And Manchester United TV for football fans. More movies, more music, more sports. All in one place.
Face the future with confidence by acquiring additional skills that will make you competitive in the job market. Enhance your skills by undertaking professional short courses at Mount Kenya University's Center for Professional Development. These programs include Certified Human Resource Professional, Certified Public Accounts, Certified Associate in Project Management, Certified Procurement and Supply Professional, Certified Forensic Fraud Examiner, Chartered Institute for Securities and Investment, Cisco Networking, Cloud and Cybersecurity Solutions, Certified Investment and Financial Analyst. Application is through admission.mku.ac.ke or reach us on 0709 153 195 or 0709 153 194. Mount Kenya University, unlocking infinite possibilities.
And let's buckle down to some business where Safaricom PLC has reached a major financial milestone after posting a net income of 100 billion shillings for the financial year ended March 2026. Results released today in Nairobi shows group revenue rose to 414.1 billion shillings, driven by an 18.3 increase in mobile data and 182.7 billion shillings from M-Pesa. Despite early setup cost in Ethiopia, the company's EBIT grew by 15.3% to 182.3 billion shillings. As a result, the board has rewarded shareholders with a total dividend payout of 80.1 billion shillings or 2 shillings per share. The 66.7% rise in dividends shows the company's strong financial position as Safaricom continues expanding into a regional tech company.
Through partnerships, we continue to enhance value to our customers with expanded 4G device financing, tokenized insurance, and relevant content. As a result, we now have more than 30 million customers who are on 4G devices. Over 2 million customers took their first step into structured savings and investments through ZD Money Market Fund, whilst more than 500,000 retail investors are now accessing the stock market via ZD Trader.
M-Pesa remained the key driver of revenue performance, contributing 59.2% of the total revenue growth, expanding its revenue mix to 45.6% and growing by 13.4% year over year.
We have sustained strong growth in service revenue, driven primarily by M-Pesa and data, while maintaining profitability despite the continued investment in Ethiopia.
Subscriber growth is strong, 50% growth. We have now more than 13 million customers. So things are really coming nicely together in Ethiopia.
Right. Retailers in Kenya are being encouraged to adopt digital payment systems to improve business performance and enhance customers' experience. This was highlighted during a partnership engagement between the Retail Trade Association of Kenya, RETRAC, and Network International aimed at strengthening payment solutions for retailers. Speaking during the engagement, Judy Waroiro, the managing director, said digital payments help businesses reduce fraud, improve efficiency, and access valuable sales data for decision-making. Mfo Sadiki, managing director of Merchant added that the goal is to make payment acceptance seamless across in-store, mobile and social platforms.
At Network International, we support business with payments, and in particular with retailers. We have various solutions that we're able to give retailers. This includes in-store payments. So for physical stores, we have a POS machine or PDQ machines, which support both credit card and mobile money. We're also able to support online stores, whether you have a shop on social media, on Instagram or WhatsApp. So with all this digitization, it really helps a retailer improve their revenue and also get into opportunities they would never have gotten into if they did not digitize their payments.
We're looking to improve the lot for the retailer. One of the most important things for a retailer is operational efficiency.
Network International, this partnership means a lot. Retailers are the economic engine of any country, and the ability to ensure that they receive payments and that the whole payment experience is as seamless and as frictionless as possible is something that we are passionate about.
To some sporting action right now, where the Kenya Volleyball Federation League is currently underway at the Nyayo National Stadium, with teams from across the country continuing to showcase their growing talent and determination in the sport. Among the top sides battling for honors this season are Kenya Pipeline Volleyball Club, Kenya Prisons Volleyball Club and Kenya Army Volleyball Team, all of whom have begun the campaign strongly as they target this season's league championship.
We are doing the ball control. That has been a problem for a long time. If we're able to control the ball, we're able to play well and we're able to play all the moves we want. We're also working on our services to be tough and to subdue the opponent, yes.
Wasichana wangu wamecheza vizuri kwa hakika. Ni vile tu imeponyoka hapo kwa finishing ndio hatukuwa na nguvu sana, lakini generally wamejaribu.
I believe in my team that we are going to play more and more and keep on pushing until we emerge maybe the victorious of the league. I actually believe in them because they are putting in hard work, a lot of hard work actually, and I believe that we are going to lead.
For their best, they tried their best. As Paulinzi, they did their best. They played their level best.
Kwa game ya leo, na tuko ready. We are so ready for today's match. Niko na courage. Next year naweza make national team.
And Kenya's under-23 hearing-impaired football team has intensified final preparations ahead of the upcoming World Championship in Serbia, with the squad holding a training session today at the Nyayo National Stadium. The team, made up of 7 players on each side, is set to proudly fly Kenya's flag on the global stage as they seek to make history against some of the world's top futsal nations. Speaking during the training session, the team's head coach expressed strong confidence in the squad's ability to compete for the title, citing the players' discipline, teamwork and determination as key strengths ahead of a championship.
Is ready to go and bring us the trophy because the people have been training serious and there's no jokes here. Nataka kusema tafadhali the government continue to support, to give us support, and we'll bring the best and we'll try our best to bring the trophy. When we travel to the UK, we finish maybe number 1, 2 and 3, which is very possible because we've been training hard. And you Kenya, and our promise, I will try, we'll bring back the trophy home. It's best and they are ready to go home and bring the trophy. They have been dedicated, and thank you to the government. Thank you so much.
We have only 2 teams, that is us, Kenya, and Liberia. We started this team by a selection, national selection, which took place in February, around date 15, 16. And from there we've been training every weekend. However, hatujakuwa na residential camp, but tumekuwa tukicamp tu on our own, tukikuja maybe We are coming on a Friday, to camp over the weekend. We disperse on Monday.
We are hoping for the best. We are hoping for a podium finish. With what the boys are currently with what the boys have been doing, the expectations are too high. The camp has been so good. We're expecting a lot. And we just want to say thank you for our country for supporting us.
KCB Rugby Club will square it out with Kabras Sugar in blockbuster Kenya Cup final set for May the 9th, 2026 at the ASK Showground as the Bankers eye a historic 9th title in what promises to be a fiercely contested showdown. Heading into the final, KCB has steadily evolved into a more balanced and competitive outfit. Their growth was evident in the regular season when they pushed Kabras to the limit in a tightly contested 10-10 draw that was eventually disrupted by heavy rain. The Bankers will be keen to go one better this time and dethrone the Sugar Millers, who have dominated recent seasons. KCB last reached the Kenya Cup final in 2024, where they fell 29-5 to the same opponents, adding extra motivation as they seek redemption on the big stage. In preparation for the high-stakes encounter, the team departed for Kakamega on Tuesday, May the 5th, to set up camp and fine-tune their strategy ahead of a much-anticipated final.
Transitioning for quite some time, roughly three years. In those 3 years, we've not had the Kenya Cup title, and I believe the boys have bonded enough, have joined and understand the game plan quite well. And we've we have had quite a good build-up this season, and it's a plus, and that's what drives the boys to go for this title.
Losing the finals, I think, in the past has been a build-up to something bigger to come, and they've gotten a better share of it. They've had it 4 times. We also, at some point, had a better part of it, just a lapse, and we lost it. And this time, I think we are pretty excited and ready for the contest. We are hoping to give it another, to start building up and get the first of the 5 to come. I think this is one group that is very entertaining. This group you find that it gives our coaches very easy job to do.
We have young boys who have really matured and became men to get into that final. So going to Kabras is not easy. Winning at Kabras is not easy for guys like us who have gone out and won at Kabras. We know the kind of hard work they need to have, the kind of mental that they need to carry before they go into the field, because everything else will be against them. So the way they're going to come in as a unit and to be able to present themselves will mean a lot on that day.
African Police Taekwondo Confederation team have inspected Kasarani Stadium Indoor Arena as part of preparations for the upcoming APTAC Championships to be held in Nairobi, Kenya from 24th to 31st May 2026. The visit aimed at evaluating the venue's preparedness, infrastructure, safety standards, accessibility and suitability for hosting regional and international sporting events. This will be the first time Kenya will be hosting the event.
The intention of coming to Kenya is to gauge the level of preparedness of our venues and our teams, because from date 24th to 31st of this month, Kenya will be hosting the African Police Taekwondo Confederation Championships at this very venue, the Kasarani Indoor Arena. We have taken the guests around, and I'm satisfied that what we've shown them will give them the reason to give us a clean bill of health, that we must proceed as a country.
It was a good preparation. We was really impressed. We have good infrastructure. We receive us with a lot of kindness, and we are really appreciate it. Yes, Kenya is become the main point in Africa when we talk about sports organization. And we want to make, we do 7 years without competition, and we want to come back with a great country.
Jin Shen and Muirore Irogo are gearing up for training at the Dragon Fitness Arena in Dagoretti Corner ahead of the 3rd edition Rising Stars slated for MultiChoice Studios at the ASK Showgrounds in Jamhuri, Nairobi on May 28, 2026. The 22-year-old Shen will be making his debut in the championship promoted by Maurice Odera of UFS boxing, while Irongo will be going for a second victory following his win on debut at the event in February. He triumphed on a unanimous points decision after overcoming Jeremiah Abuko. Irongo will take on John Logove in a 4-round featherweight duel, while Shen will tackle Elas Njoroge in a 4-round bantamweight face-off.
I think at the end of the day, a fight is a fight, you know. You're still going to use the same tactics or the same heart and spirit that will carry you through, whether it's kickboxing, Muay Thai, or MMA. So I know boxing is a new challenge altogether. You know, we call it the sweet science for a reason. And yeah, I'd like to show you that Muay Thai is very good, so is kickboxing, and I want to show how strong my style of fighting is.
Tumeanza training late, not even late, immediately after the fight, we started training. So since March till now, tumekuwa tukifanya strength and conditioning, a lot of pad work, a lot of weightlifting, cardio. So yeah, I'm ready. Cardio yangu ilikuwa chini kidogo, but I've been working on that. Tumekuwa tukikimbia, tukifanya drills hizo vitu zote. Pia strength haikuwa, but sasa tumenunua chuma, tumefanya strength and conditioning. So yeah.
NCBA Group has injected 2 million Kenyan shillings into the upcoming Sunshine Development Tour East Africa swing event set for June 7th to 9th at the Nairobi Golf Cup. The move is aimed at strengthening the professional golf pathway in the region as a sponsorship, I should say, adds momentum to efforts to grow competitive golf in East Africa by supporting tournaments that offer players while ranking points and opportunities to progress to the higher tier Sunshine Tour. The Royal Nairobi leg is expected to draw leading professional and elite amateur golfers from across the region as they compete for prize money and career advancement opportunities.
We are doing a lot when it comes to the world of golf, and today we reinforce our commitment to make sure our pros get more opportunities to play and become the next Tiger Woods. So there's a lot of tournaments already existing for the pros, but the Sunshine Tour is one we've not been a part of, and being a part of the conversation today and the investment is to make sure that our pros are well taken care of so that golf can move to the next level for Kenya.
They are a good partner of golf from the junior level through the amateur level. They've already been involved with the pros for about a year or so, and now they come into SDT to continue with that support. Significant because it's a mutual partnership. It helps the tour grow in terms of footprint, in terms of quality of event.
All right, that's all she wrote on our today's bulletin. We want to wind up with Catherine Simaloy on the sign language desk, but I just also want to dial back the time machine and see if you can jog your memory by remembering some of these faces on the photo that we are just putting on air right now. Right? So of course, you can remember most of the faces there, maybe one or two of them. You can't. We have President Kenyatta there, pictured at Parliament buildings. This was in 1970, so the caption reads, Parliament buildings yesterday after KANU Parliamentary Group meeting. With left to right, we have a speaker. Do you remember this speaker? This is way back in 1970, when most of us, of course, we were not born. And if you can, this was Fred Mati. Now, Fred Mati was the first African longest speaker of Kenyan Parliament from 1970 to 1988. And we have also at the rear there, Mr. Jeremiah Nyaga, Minister for Agriculture. We have President, that is Vice President Daniel Arap Moi then. Also, we have Mwai Kibaki, who was the Finance, Economic Planning and Development Minister then. And so we have in this caption, of course, or this particular photo, all the president. We have the first president, second president, and third president of the Republic. All right, I thought you should know. All right, that does it for now. Thank you very much for your valued company. May you sleep easy and have a restorative night.